What's going on, everybody? It is no secret that college football is in a crazy place right now. Interesting situation, just with the whole transfer portal and NIL. So I'm going to get into this video what I think I would do if I, were in this situation. I want to go ahead and preface and say I'm glad I'm not, but I just want to get to my thoughts. I want to address some of the comments and the things in the last video. I really appreciate all the things, all the positive stuff, and the video did way better than anticipated, so clearly something y'all want to hear. So, and to that point, let me know any more specific questions. I really want this to be a family thing. I want y'all to be involved. So I'm just trying to give as much insight as I can and stay out of the way. But essentially, so if you hadn't watched the last video, first thing I would do, I would definitely recommend that. I'll probably put that here if I'm fancy enough. If not, don't worry about it. But yeah, I want to kind of sit here and talk about the things that I would do if I was in this situation. And then I'm going to tell y'all the things that I definitely wouldn't do. So I'm going to put them at the end of the video, so stay for those. Because, some suggestions I really don't agree too much with. But I can definitely hear where y'all are coming from. So, but I'll get to that at the end of the video. But just to start it off, one of the first things that I would do is I feel like I would put more emphasis on education again. And of course, like the regular education is huge and a big benefit, especially I'm blessed enough to recognize that at Georgia Tech. But I think that we need to have more financial literacy and just be, because the way I see it is this is our first time, our age group. This is our first time with a lot of money in our hands and a lot of money, and we're young and we're going to do things that young people want to do with money. And that's just kind of the whole thing that's kind of been a concern for me. And talking to many of you guys are saying the same thing. It's just like, what are these kids doing with all this money? And it's kind of like, I don't like how, like, when I was trying to tell a bunch of people what the S&P 500 is, I didn't like how a good bit of them didn't know what it was, and just investing in general, and just like, because I think that we have the type of money that we can change generations, just because like that's the type of money that's being given to us. And if we're smart with it, like now, and especially these people who are getting, a substantial amount of money coming into their freshman year, and they have 5 years of college football, 4 years of college football, like the amount of money they can get to that is life-changing if you're doing it right and everything. So I do think we need to have mandatory financial literacy, because, there is mandatory stuff that we sit through. Like, we have to do mandatory Title IX, have to do mandatory sexual misconduct and things like that. So I think that financial literacy should be added into that. But while talking about the topic of education, I definitely think that we need to put more emphasis on education again. And that's one thing that you can be proud of, Georgia Tech fans, is Coach Key loves education. He real deal does make sure that we go to class, make sure we get good grades and everything. But just talking to peers of mine and seeing the people around, I can't say this. I wish I could say the same for everybody else. And I definitely don't want to talk bad about other schools or anything. But I'd be, it's kind of apparent that like college football has kind of got to a point where these kids are strictly here to play football. Like it's people here who don't even try to hide that they really don't care about the school part, and that's just the nature of it. Is because again, you're giving 21-year-olds $500,000. Like, it's hard to kind of tell them to sit in the class and everything. And I'll get to a point about that later too. But yeah, I think we definitely need to have more education. We need to put an emphasis on the degree. Like, I know it kind of has a good thing, because I know when people have an idea that they might get out, they speed up the process, and you got people graduating 2.5, 3 years, 3.5 years, you know what I'm saying? So that is a good thing. But I definitely think that we need to put more emphasis on getting a degree before you leave, and trying not to let the transfer process, stop you from getting a degree. Because like with the transfer process, you got to remember, like, you still have to take classes, and schools don't accept classes and everything, and that really just prolongs your degree. And I would hate for like the people who have these extended careers with the amount of red shirts and loopholes you can do, the new junior college eligibility. Like, I would hate for these people to not be getting their degrees, while they're here. So that's the one thing. Next thing I would do, we gotta take a pause and look at how beautiful the sky is. But man, you just gotta love Atlanta. I love living in Atlanta. But yeah, like I was saying, the next thing I would do would be to kind of have some sort of incentive or incentivize people to stay longer. Just because, like I've mentioned many times before, that like when you're offered X amount of money, and like put yourself in the shoes of somebody who you didn't get as much playing time as you want, and you didn't, and you just because of it, you're kind of there's tension between you and your coach or whatever, and you're fearing and you're rumored that other people are coming to be transferred into the school, like, and you get offered X amount of money to go somewhere else. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to say no to that. And as much as I'm huge on camaraderie, like I was at Georgia Tech 3 years, I was one of the longest tenured people on this last year's team. Was glad that I was able to kind of build the program and, be through the process of a struggling Tech before I got there, kind of be on the come up and set the stage for what I think is going to be a beautiful future for Georgia Tech. And I'm glad that I was part of it. I was glad like the people who were there when I first got there were, like it was something different about those teammates specifically. And we're at a point right now where like there's really no incentive to like do that and choose that over the transfer portal right now. So I don't know what exactly it is, like I said, and I will continue to say many times, I'm glad it's not my choice. But I feel like that we could be doing something, maybe like a certain loan at the end, or like I know it's not a scholarship because you're already giving scholarships, but y'all can like maybe y'all can help me figure out something I'm trying to think of. Like, what is something that 4 years, if you stay at the school 3 years, like you can get in return to like be proud of, or like set your career up, or maybe legacy, something, I don't know, better eligibility, better league chances, something to incentivize you to stay. Because right now there's no incentive in other than but that's that thing. Another thing that I was kind of messing with, and I don't know more about the details of the inside and why they got rid of it. I know there was a lot of loopholes to it, and that was a problem. Everybody was able to get. So I'm gonna go ahead and say the thing, but the whole sit out 1 year, or like forfeit a few games. I think maybe we bring that back, but it's hard for me to say this because I know a lot of people personally who the transfer portal has benefited tremendously. Like the trajectory of their whole career was changed by entering the transfer portal, and like sitting back a year or whatever would have really messed that up. But again, I really don't like the current state we're in. So maybe have 3-4 games suspension. Dude, I don't know, something. Or I seen somebody was saying that like you could only maybe for the teams you can only have like 30 transferred players on your roster at a time, or lower than that, like 20 transferred players on your roster on the team, or like, you know what I'm saying, like some sort of limit like that. Getting into the things I don't want, I don't know if I want a salary cap, just because, and this is all me personally, y'all can agree, y'all can give me y'all's thoughts. Actually, I encourage y'all, please give me y'all thoughts, give me y'all what y'all would do. But yeah, I don't want to do a salary cap, because that really makes what college football was supposed to be like into a whole developmental league, to a whole G League version of or NFL's version of the G League. There already is XFL and CFL. We kind of take from their shine. It's just, I don't know. It feels like you still want it to be college. We're still here for education. You don't want to completely get rid of that and just have like the same person that goes to a class as somebody who is just a regular student. Have somebody else who is under a contract, under a salary cap, in their same class. It don't feel right, it don't sit right. So I don't know about the salary cap, but the thing that I definitely wouldn't do, and I definitely wouldn't advise, as somebody been through it, is going back to how it was without NIL at all. I definitely don't think that's the right thing, just because I think many people forget that we are student athletes and we do still have to go to school. I believe the GPA to maintain was like a 2.0 or something. And when you're in a school like Georgia Tech, not to be braggadocious or anything, but you gotta go do your stuff on the football field, and you gotta come to these hard classes and try to and stay eligible. And some people want to thrive, some people really have hard majors. Like y'all be surprised how many people are on the team doing like civil engineering and stuff. So to do that, and then you go to football, you have practices, you have lifts, you have mandatory meals being like dinners, stuff, lunch and stuff. to do all that, and then you have to, don't forget, you got to go home, and number one, you got to study your schoolwork, but then you got to study your playbook. You got to watch film, try to pick up on tendencies and all that, and breakdowns and all that from the game coming up and everything. And it's grueling. It's a full year thing. You don't really get much time off. There's not much of an off season. So to not get any money, I don't really agree too much with that. I think there should be compensation. And the thing that really wouldn't sit right with me is, the people at the top who are making all the money off of, our name, image, and likeness. Because I'm fully aware of how much money is flowing through college football and is going through college football. So to just have all that money sitting out there, and it wouldn't really sit right with me, because again, that is the players who are making that money. So I definitely don't think we should go back and get rid of NIL. I think we just gotta work real hard and diligent to control it, which I'm confident. I'm gonna stay optimistic about the future, because it's the game that everybody loves. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, my insights. Again, please leave y'all's thoughts. I don't want to talk too long. I've already talked a good bit. Please make this a dialogue, not a monologue. I want to hear what y'all got to say. And as always, peace.